In this episode, I sit down with Andrea, a graduate of the Shift Weight Mastery process who has not only achieved her ideal weight, but has maintained it for 4 years. Andrea's story will resonate with anyone who has ever felt trapped in an endless fight with food. Growing up at the tender age of 13, Andrea attended Weight Watchers meetings with her mom and spent decades wrestling with thoughts about eating and weight that took up far too much of her mental space. But through the shift process and hypnosis, Andrea discovered a whole new way of moving forward. What changed wasn't just the number on the scale. It was her entire relationship with food and herself. Today, she describes the best part of her transformation not as being lighter, but finally being free. Join us as Andrea shares how she shifted her mind, stopped fighting with food, and stepped into a life of lasting freedom. So come on in. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. I am so happy you are here. If you are here as this episode is dropping, which many of you are, we are just about to head into the Labor Day weekend here in the wonderful United States of America. And Labor Day is a very interesting holiday here, and often a time where we do a lot of our last minute summer eating before heading into pulling it all together in the autumn. At least that's what I've observed over the many years that I've been working with my students and clients. Do you ever get that back to school feeling, although you haven't been to school in years? I certainly do. There's something just about getting back to the structure of life that September brings, or maybe just because we start the live fall shift process, that feels like you're heading back to school in a really good way. The immersion of the world of weight mastery and beginning that journey, I don't know, but I always look forward to September and the fall shift. So I'm super excited this year. We started enrollment early so that the doors are already open. We usually don't open it this early, but we decided, hey, makes sense. People need a little beforehand knowledge of the dates of a very immersive process. Even though the process itself only takes about 20 to 40 minutes a day, it's probably a good idea if people know ahead of time when this live online process is going to take place. So if you are interested in learning more about our hypnosis-based 30-day Shift Weight Mastery process, head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com/fall to see what it's all about. You just click and just read through. There's all the information, all the dates, our guarantee, all of that jazz there for you. Or you could just head over to the show notes. The links will also be there. So we are starting, just FYI, with the first day of our preparation process, which takes a little over a week, on September 17th, and day one officially is September 26th. So I am talking to the amazing Andrea, who shifted over in 2020, I want to say late 2020, I believe Andrea did the fall 2020 shift and she released her weight and has been maintaining her ideal weight since then. And you're going to love her story and what she has to say about her journey of releasing and maintaining. And she's also going to be a coach at the upcoming shift process. And let me tell you something about our coaches. The coaches in the live Shift Weight Mastery process are unbelievable. They are the magical fairy dust of the shift. I am absolutely 100% convinced we're going to have over 40 coaches. And these people are just people who have released weight, are further ahead than our participants on their journey, whether it's a few months or a few years or even many more years. We have people coaching who have been maintaining their ideal weight for some time now. And we have people who are relatively new, but just are closer to the participants' experience. I believe in having a big breadth of coaches that can coach you from where they're at, just a few feet ahead of you, and coach you from the inspirational point of having maintained their weight for a very long time. There's just something very subconscious going on in a group. They have said, studies have shown that people who are in group weight experiences release weight more quickly and keep it off longer. And I really believe in the power of the group. Let me repeat that one more time. All right. So enough said about that. And really that with all of that support, but also the power of the process, it just creates this rocket blast propelling people into their amazing journey and freedom from the struggle with the weight. And so go ahead and check it out, www.shiftweightmastery.com/fall. And now let's meet Andrea. Welcome, Andrea, to the Thin Thinking podcast. It's been a while and you look amazing and it's great to have you here.
Thank you. And you always bring such, I don't know, immediately you're positive. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to divulge what I said. How much time do you have for this interview? And you were like, I've actually got to go home and exercise. So we're going to have her until she has to go home and exercise, and we'll all respect your time. So I love that. But it's been a while and it's really great to see you. I wanted to bring you on though, because I wanted you to tell us your story, because I think your story is inspirational. You've been in maintenance for a while now. I think our listeners would find that your journey within that, because we're really looking deep into the mindset of maintenance, what insights we can dig up for people to hold on to. But I'd love for you to share your story from the start of when did you know that you were struggling with weight, or when did you think you had a weight struggle?
So having had the opportunity to engage with so many other people in your network, I don't think mine is all that much different. It started pretty young, Rita. And I did come from a family that was very weight conscious. And so I can remember my mom asking me to go to Weight Watchers when I was 13 years old.
With her, or?
Yes.
Okay, so it was a mom-daughter thing.
It was a mom-daughter thing. And the last time, I want to say that she never talked about, but I think it was leading up to every time I was putting food in my mouth, I got that look from my parents.
Yeah.
Do you know the look?
I know the look.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because my mom struggled with her weight. She didn't buy into Weight Watchers because she was a nutritionist, but I went to Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. There's a lot of mom-daughter Weight Watchers. It could be a mom-daughter, like from our age group, that was a big thing. A mom.
Yeah. I think my age today, I'm 62 years old. At the time when I was 13, then my mother would have been 33. And hard to be a mom at 33 years old. Yeah. Not without a lot of direction from family or anything like that. But I think there was a little bit of my mother wanting to protect me, which was thin people, life works out better for. And yes. And just as an FYI, my mom was a working woman. After she had us, she went back and finished her college degree, eventually got a master's, because she was a very successful, very smart woman, but it might have really been true back then. I don't even know that it's not true today to some degree, but
Yeah.
I think life felt a little easier and accessible, especially in those Twiggy days. Okay, because that's what we
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking about.
Oh, yeah. I think I've talked to some other people I've interviewed. We've talked about that because it was so tied into worth. Your weight was, as a woman, was part of your worthiness if you were thin, that there was a protective thing you could see it as a two-edged sword, isn't it? It was like, I want to make sure you're good in this
Right.
world, so you better look good. It was a weird, strange time for messaging to young women, but
Yeah,
that's
like
what
I'm
we
not
had.
mad at my mom for it. Just so
Yeah,
that
it
even
wasn't
though
her
she's not
fault.
alive today,
No.
I think it was her way. But I would like to break the chain and
Yes.
maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that. But I'd love to
Yeah.
break that chain.
Yeah. I know you have a daughter and have worked at that. I know I have a daughter and have worked at that. And it's interesting to see things that come up. How old is your daughter?
She's 31.
Okay.
She's 31.
Okay. Yeah, so she's almost 10 years older than my daughter. It's interesting. I think that there was a huge jump in beliefs and worthiness and all of that, even with my daughter, because my daughter doesn't really have weight issues. She's very body love, body happy. And she's not skinny. She's healthy and she's
Yeah.
strong. So it's interesting. She
Yeah.
didn't have that.
I feel the same about my daughter. She's like that, although she suffers a bit, although she does. Yeah. And just to let you know, she married a guy that he has to go on weight gain programs, but he's very mentally conscious, meaning he wanted to build muscle mass. So he had to go on these massive protein, massive weight gain. But the only way to truly build muscle, according to his support that he had, was you just got to also gain the weight and then he has to lose it. And he's so motivated by a goal. I can't describe it. It's very unusual, as I now know. But he can gain it, then lose what, and that's what releases the fat and keeps the muscle. And so, but she has to live with that, because when we talk about what the environment, how important the environment is, I now, as an empty nester, because my husband doesn't, he's a lifelong, he has to monitor what he eats and everything else. We're such a great partnership. And I have plenty of other things to talk about that I think make everyone so much happier. I don't hate eating anymore.
That's so great.
We would go out to dinner and everybody would be afraid, where are we going to go with mom? Because she's going to be like, why did I eat that? Like, we are just so much all happier as a family. And I've come to accept healthy is more important than skinny.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to jump so far ahead.
Oh, no, I took you off track. So you were going to Weight Watchers meetings with your mom and you were 13.
Yeah. I was 13 and it worked until it didn't work. And then I was at this behavioral therapist, which might be a little bit similar to this. That worked until I'll never forget the binge. I'll never, ever forget it. I literally was 102 pounds in high school. But I didn't know this terrible scoliosis that I had. And what it did was it created like a little bit of a blob on my left and nothing on my right. But no matter what I was losing, I was 102 pounds. And I remember going on a college visit and eating, I think they were called Freihofer cookies.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember these. They were like in a box. They were called Freihofer cookies. And I ate the whole damn box.
Wow.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I never knew how to stop that. And it became perfect to what we now know is Rebel, coming out with all sorts of, and I was a Rebel rouser for a very long time. But that's my story, passed down from a generation, really not understanding why I was doing the things that I was doing, not understanding that willpower wasn't the answer. I thought it was. To me, it was like, you just can't do this, not that it can't be done.
Well, I think
And,
it's too because you are a high achiever.
Yeah.
You have set a high bar for yourself. And I think a lot of women who do that are baffled because it's like, I can use willpower in pretty much everything else I'm doing, or I can will it to be.
Yeah. I'd say on the positive side, I don't know if you've ever heard this from other people. You did talk about, I'm a professional woman. I'm an executive at a fairly large global organization. And I started on Wall Street. And it was not a favorable time to be a woman on Wall Street, let alone, 5 feet tall, up and down in my weight, all those other things. And in some ways, it always pushed me to deliver. Oh, you got to deliver. Oh, you got to deliver. I'm not going to be recognized for anything other than delivering amazing results. In some ways, I guess it led to some good things for me. I don't want to say all bad, but I
Yeah.
had to lean into my brain, not my body. And I did that, my brain and my hard work.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know that, there was anything wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
But I
No.
just think, that mindset and that determination sometimes then baffles really highly successful people why it can't be applied to weight management all the time.
Yeah. All the time. Just
Well,
like
and
you
you
can't be
can be
successful at work all the time. You got to
Right.
fail here sometimes.
Yeah.
We have a work expression these days, fail forward, right? Fail
Yes.
forward. Now, somebody once said to me the funniest thing. They're like, oh, great. Now you're not even just allowed to fail. You got to fail forward. It's like, it's okay. It's okay.
So at what point so here you were a professional woman, and at what point, when you had children, did that impact your weight or was not a factor in your weight story?
It was was it a factor? With my first child, I probably gained so much weight just so I had only a few discs left on my back and I herniated one of them. So
Oh,
that wasn't
geez.
so good. So then with my second child, I really watched what I ate. And I remember being 5 months pregnant and someone saying to me, oh, you look so great. You lost all that baby weight. And I went home and I started crying because I was 5 months pregnant. And I was like, I'm just going to gain it all back. It's just going to be, I guess people had noticed that I was pregnant and whatever. Right. And I was like, oh my God. So I really didn't gain that much weight with my second child. And I don't know, like it was just the standard up and downs. I think just as an FYI, like the ups and downs were bigger when I was younger. I still had the ups and downs when I was a bit older, but they were a little bit less. And I think maybe it was because I wasn't trying to get down so low, right, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But it didn't matter. The amount of weight that I would gain in my journey didn't matter what it did to my brain and my head and my confidence and it was the same. It was the same. And so I think when I met you, and I don't know if you remember, but we met through a friend from your smoking program.
That's correct. That's right.
I don't know if you remember. And she had said this to me. And after I spoke to you, because we actually spoke on the phone,
That's right.
You were literally starting this journey. I'm a learning professional. So you were starting the journey onto Kajabi, I think it was. And I was like, oh, you're on a learning management system. And you're like, what is that? What happened was after we talked and I didn't go into the program right away. I went online and I downloaded some things and all of a sudden it hit me. It really did hit me. I am so tired of this. I'm wasting all my brain on what I'm eating, when I'm eating, what the scale says, why'd you do it? Why didn't you do it? I don't know if you ever remember the Seinfeld episode where they all decide to abstain from
Yes.
sex, and all of a sudden George becomes super smart. Do you remember?
Yes.
Because his brain is free from having to think about that all day. And I was like, I want that. I want that. I am so tired of 50% of my brain being attached to what I put in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, my kids were sick of it. They didn't want to go out to dinner with me because every time I ate something, it was like the joke, where are we going to go to dinner with mom? Because all she's going to say is, why'd you let me eat that? I can't believe I ate that. And I was like, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
And I think without the pressure, to be honest, I'm not saying that you can't do this with children. Of course you can. I think if I would have done this earlier, I would have been successful. But there was also like a little bit more freedom as an empty nester
Yeah.
to be
To take
like,
the
it's
time.
about me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a great time to refocus on you. And obviously you not only have your children, you had your children, but you had your career. So you had a lot going on.
I had a lot going on. An hour and a half commute every day to New York City. It was tough. So yeah, it was tough. But so when we met, I think by the time that I got there, maybe I was like, I was about 15 pounds, but I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I never want to see them again. It wasn't my weight. I forget the words that we use.
Weight release.
My weight release journey, okay, and was not as long as some others. But remember, just like so many people that I know, I did like the starvation diets, the HCG, did everything
Well,
not healthy. And I was like, okay, I'm done.
I think the point I'd like to make, and I think you're making it, is that 15 pounds can feel like 50 when you are just cycling through them again and again. It doesn't matter. It's the pain at that point can be as great as the pain of carrying extra weight. And most people who have released weight, whether or not they have 10 pounds, 20, 50 to release, those last 10 to 15 can be the toughest because they require, I think, an extra level of self-love, because you can get comfortable 10 to 15 pounds above your ideal weight. And if you really want to get to that next place, it takes that extra why.
I think
Does that
that's
make sense?
really true. Oh my God. Yeah. I relate to that so much. I hadn't thought about it that way, but there is something about that last part of your journey. Is it good enough? Am I comfortable now? What is right for me? But the reality is, it's the maintenance that you never learn. It's the maintenance that you never learn. And it's that concept. And we've talked about it. You talk about it a lot, which is learning to love yourself down the scale. You can't get there and say, okay, now I love myself. Like, you have to be learning in this journey down the scale, not just learning how to eat, but learning how to appreciate your health, who you are, and that you should feel confident that you know how to do this. You know how to deal with a couple of pounds of gain or a binge. I know how to deal with this so that it doesn't consume me, and you can't do that unless I think you're learning it down the scale.
Yeah, and I think you also take on that ownership and self-advocacy of your journey. Like, your journey is important to you and you have ownership. Like you said, I can have a binge and I can own the binge and I can keep going because it's not something outside of me. It's an internal process now that I have some agency over. I can look and see, why did I have that binge, and forgive myself, because I want to keep going and I want to protect myself and keep myself going. So when you have that ownership, that inner communication, the outcome is different, because you're not self-shaming and then just shutting it down and then starting over.
And there's this mild difference, because this not starting over, the forgiveness comes from getting back on track the minute that you realize it, versus let me finish this up first and then get back. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it really depends on how you look at that get back on track. And our brains are pretty sneaky. They're so sneaky.
Oh my God,
so
they are so sneaky.
It's so sneaky. So the forgiveness, as soon as you forgive yourself and you realize, my forgiveness looks like, this is what I say to myself when I forgive myself. I'm like, oh my God, in life, I have made some big mistakes. I say something not nice to somebody, or that hurt somebody's feelings, or I do something, I don't follow up, like with somebody at work, and it costs me something, whatever that is. Those things you can never take back. They're done. I'm like, but eating a bagel on whatever, which I don't eat that much, it's like, you can so easily correct that, as though you don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to, you just don't. And if you start looking at it like, is this so unfixable? There are things that we do in life that aren't fixable. This is fixable. Anything that you put in your mouth is fixable. And that's how I say to myself, that's how I forgive myself. Oh, come on, this is fixable. Maybe it's an extra workout. Maybe it's a week long. The fixable is like, I've been adding carbs a little bit here to fixable. So, and so much stuff isn't.
Do you find now maintaining, is it 3+ years or almost 3 years? Where are we in
I
this?
think it's closer to 4 years, actually.
Okay, that's
I think
amazing.
it's almost closer to 4 years.
Okay, wait a minute. I think I got ahead of myself again. The hypnosis part, because this is a hypnosis program, and we were talking about hypnosis a little earlier. How was that? Had you done hypnosis before? Remind me. And
I didn't. When I was very young, my mother took me to a behavioral therapist. And if I would have remembered, it was like this, but not really. And I was like 15.
Oh.
And so as an adult, it's so much different. But I'd love to talk about the hypnosis, because I still use it 4 years later. And I think you have to be suspect. Is this really going to work? You have, if you're not a little suspect, I don't know. I just can't imagine being a little suspect. I think, though, the commitment to visualization is what stuck with me so much. And the consistency of, no matter what you read, no matter where you go, there's nothing bad about waking up in the morning and doing a little meditation. And if my meditation focuses around what my day is going to look like, and since a lot of it in it, I'm thinking about my actions outside of work, if it's eating, if it's working out, if it's planning, whatever that is, that's good. That is good for you, no matter what. But for some reason, it definitely changed where my brain goes first. It has, I think it's changed it perhaps forever, meaning I can still see myself. Oh, I know, I was having a crazy day. I got really worried with something today, very worried. I thought something was going to happen at work, but at the same time, I have a shoulder injury, and I was going to go to the chiropractor during the middle of the day, and it all got a little late. And as I'm driving back to the office, and it's like lunchtime, I can hear myself going, oh, maybe today I'm just going to grab blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, why are you doing that? And I literally will say to myself, Is there a coach in there? Is there a coach in there? You'll laugh. That's 4 years later. If I didn't still use hypnosis, if I still didn't use the meditations, and I still go back to the standard ones a lot of the times, I don't know that would come front of mind. I don't know that I would be that present with what is going on. So it was meaningful for me.
Yeah. And I think our brains so don't want, we're not, and again, being a successful business person, you use your brain well, but we don't mark progress. Our brains aren't good at saying, you did that and you've come this far. They're much better at saying, you haven't done this and you have this far, much further to go. So I think for some people, and this is it, so when you reached your ideal weight, tell us a little bit about that piece of the journey. So you were doing hypnosis, you were releasing weight, and I know you said you had 15 pounds to release, but that was 15 pounds. And so you're releasing weight, you get there. And I think because we've had this ongoing conversation in the Thin Thinking podcast about ideal weight, like where just the word ideal weight and what does that mean? And I've come to think maybe ideal weight is the wrong word, but it's more like, what is my sustainable long-term loving weight goal? Meaning goal that I can sustain, that feels good, and that's loving.
I don't want to turn your thinking upside down, but I might just a little bit, because
please,
when I'm visualizing 5 years from now, when I was in the program, like at the beginning part of the weight release program, I could not visualize myself in a different weight group. I couldn't see myself.
Okay.
I could never see myself. And by the way, it might be weird, but I stare at myself in the mirror a lot. God knows these Zoom calls at work, you're constantly like in a mirror all day. But what I learned to visualize for me was a feeling of freedom, like a dancing freedom, a laughing freedom. I visualized me being a room. I am gregarious. I do like to be around other people. I'm an extrovert. I see myself telling a joke and everybody's laughing because I'm confident enough to be a center of attention, if that makes any sense. My vision is the way I'm feeling, not 100% the way that I'm looking. And it took me until I got to maintenance to realize, that I couldn't do it. I don't know at what point in the monthly journey program where I was like, oh, I don't even really see myself in my, I didn't notice it at first. Came later. And then I was like, so what are you visualizing? And I realized it was a feeling. It was a freedom. It was smiles and connectedness and confidence.
I don't think that turns what I said on his head at all, because I think this is what you're saying will be helpful for a lot of people who can't visualize. Like there are a lot of people who can't see themselves. And I always am saying that's okay. We really want to go for that feeling, because the feeling brain is where transformation takes place, not in the visual brain. So I feel the same thing. I have a vision and I can see myself when I'm 100, because like I talk about that being 100 and dancing at my son's retirement party. And I can see that. But the feeling of freedom is what drives my behavior all the time, because I'm like, if I eat that, I'm not going to feel free. Or and that is what my internal driving force is.
Right. And then I remember the next big milestone for me. I don't know if you remember this, but I think I talked to you about it at one point on one of the monthly things. I think it was about 2 years ago, my daughter got married. But it was 3 years of planning. So I was a year in the program, right? And then it's 3 years you start planning. And I remember going, oh my God, I don't have to lose weight for my daughter's wedding. I don't have to struggle between now and then. And that became, granted, I used it as an anchoring of where I wanted to be in that following year. But what I realized is as it got closer, I was like, I can't wait to wear my dress at her wedding. I would be like, I can't buy a dress. I don't do all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like excited to wear my dress, and I didn't have to suffer getting to her wedding. And you know how much better that made it for my daughter?
Oh,
How
a
much
gift.
better it made it for my whole family?
Yeah.
It was incredible. And that feeling, that still guides me. I'm like, that feeling of you're about to go to something and you don't have this journey before you go to something. You can instead go shopping. I don't know, spend money. But yeah, that was a very big part because I was already in maintenance and planning for her wedding. I did not use this to get there.
Right.
I didn't use the weight release part.
Yeah.
I had to focus on maintenance all the way up until that day.
That is so great. And I know what you mean about just not having to worry about that part of it. That I think that is one of the coolest. There's lots of great things about maintaining your ideal weight. But and as we're going to talk about, I just want to ask you about maintenance itself and what feels easy and what doesn't feel easy, and to look at the frame of mind around it, because I don't think you ever are like, huh, I used to struggle with my weight. It's always omnipresent. But I do think that I remember I tell this story. The pandemic, we were all in our sweatpants and nobody was having to get dressed or go out or do anything. And I remember the first event that I went to that was a dinner out or something that we had to get dressed up for. And I walked right into my closet. I picked out a pair of pants and I put them on and they fit. It wasn't like, are these going to fit? Because that would have been my story. I had 6 different sizes of clothes in my closet. So it would be like, which one of these is going to fit? Like just grabbing the pants I wore 2 years previously, pre-pandemic, and they just fit the same.
I mean, it's so true. But think about, like, when I think about all the special events, sometimes even a Saturday night out with friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would dread it.
Yeah. Oh,
Here
yeah.
it is. You're going to the biggest celebrations and all the fun things in life. And you're like, what am I going to wear? And I'm dreading it. So that comes back again to the visualization. That's what I'm visualizing, just that freedom. So to go to maintenance, and I don't want to sound boring to people that have listened to you before, but tracking your food is just the most freeing thing that a person can do. And with all the new tools, it can be fun. I just got the Aura ring. I don't know how
Oh,
many
how's
of
that
you.
going? That's
It does not connect with, of course, because I got the fancy one. I got the gold one, but it doesn't link with LinkedIn or My Fitness Pal. It has a different way, and I haven't used it yet because I still use Loose. And so this part feels antiquated, but it does pick it up a little bit through the Apple. But I love some of the new insights because I have like new expectations of my health now. I have time to focus on things like pre-diabetes, even though I'm thin by most people's standards. Like, I feel thin, I feel good, I feel like I can wear pretty much anything I want. Now I'm like, wow, but I still have high blood pressure because it's genetic. It's genetic. I still have high cholesterol. My father had his first heart attack at 38.
Wow.
I have to watch my glucose levels. So now I'm like, oh, but I can focus on that and different ways of eating that I'm hoping this might give me some insights into.
Yeah.
So, but I love my tracking. Not to get so, it's so freeing. I also, at least once a month, go back to weighing my food.
Good for you.
Like usually at the beginning of the month, I look at that yogurt and I'm like, what is a half a cup of yogurt? I go back. I just do it every once in a while. I just weigh it. Sometimes at dinner, I'm like, how much salmon am I eating? Let me just weigh it. And then I'm like, oh, interesting. Oh,
For
so
those listening to her talk about this, it's just our eyes will quickly 3 ounces or 4 ounces or 5 ounces of salmon quickly becomes 8 ounces of salmon.
so easy. So easy. And you're like, why am I so full tonight going to bed? All I ate was salmon. And you're like, so I have these habits. So I still write down my food. I've learned in a really big way because I dine out. My husband, I don't love to do it a lot because he is my partner in the environment of good eating. And we have different trigger foods. So they're all in the basement, completely different. Like I cannot be around a pita chip. They cannot exist in my life. And I'm like, so that doesn't bother him at all. And he can't stop ice cream and it's not that important to me. So it's all in the basement. And he knows if he opens up that bag, like if it's not open, I'll never open it. But once it's open, like I can't see it. Like he'll move it around. He'll move it around for me. So the environment is like a really big thing. And I have him as a partner in this.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
That is great. And I think what you're talking about for new listeners, in our process, we really focus on skills of weight mastery that have been studied, and environmental control is surprisingly for a lot of people are the biggest support for us and the biggest downfall. Whenever somebody is struggling, one of the first questions I will say, what came into your environment that wasn't there before? And there's always an answer. There's never nothing. There's nothing that came in it. Oh yeah, that thing came into my environment.
So what maintenance in life is, it's a level of confidence. It's a level of understanding for who you are. And it's like, how would I say this? It's the art, and I know I keep using your words, but there is a little bit of the art of never starting over and just being like, food is not a mistake that can't be corrected. It's just not. There are a lot of other mistakes I make in life. I can't go back and change them.
Yeah.
Or it can take a really long time. But eating a few pita chips and going, and even if it leads to more than that, it's pretty non-sustainable if you just go, oh, there's a few things at my disposal. Sometimes it's, I can work out more. Sometimes it's, I usually have a snack after between work and going home because I do love to work out. And that's never been something that I haven't done. So when I get home, I like to work out after work. So I know that usually I have to eat something at 3 or 4 o'clock. But if something happened at the office, I go, do you have to do that today? And there are just so many techniques. And then the other thing, and I golf a lot, and at the club that we go to, there's food everywhere.
Oh,
everywhere.
really?
Oh my God, everywhere. Jars of jelly beans, crackers. It doesn't end. It's on the golf course. It's in the club. It's everywhere. And it's free, supposedly. Yeah. But I always go like this with free food. Okay, you get on an airplane. I don't know. You're in the air for an hour and they're handing out some crappy thing of pretzels. Why that looks so good, I don't understand. I just ate breakfast. I'm not hungry. They give you things when you're not even hungry or it's not mealtime. And you feel compelled to eat it. And I'm like, the obsession with eating something that's free. And I'm like, what would you pay right now to have 5 pounds gone? And I'd be like, $5,000. And I'm like, so why are you eating a free bag of stupid pretzels? So I say stuff like that to me, which is probably like a nice, good coach inside going, how much money would you spend to lose weight? And yet you're eating, you don't even like jelly beans that much because they're free and they're there. That is just ridiculous. So there's a
Yeah.
little bit of stopping and thinking, but free food's a weird one. I don't
It's
get it.
hard. It's a hard one for people to negotiate. I should do a podcast on free food. Everybody's got to hang up about free food. Everybody.
Free. I
Yeah.
know.
It doesn't, it's,
But that's what I say to myself every time. And that's just a coaching technique of what are you doing right now?
yeah.
It's
Take
my
a breath.
coaching technique of saying, how much money would you spend right now to lose 5 pounds? Not even that I need 5 pounds to lose right now, but
Yeah.
that's what I say to myself. And I'm like, oh, wait, stop.
Yeah.
I'd spend a lot more than that food is worth there. And it lets me move on. I still listen to the hypnosis.
Yeah.
So you're never far away, Rita.
Oh,
Far
I
away.
love it. That comforts me. It
Yeah.
does comfort me.
And you're always adding new and interesting things like the bridge program. Like I started that, and for everybody, now I'm getting used to it. For everybody that's listening, it's a new introduction when you're heading from the 30-day program into our
Yeah.
monthly group.
Yeah. Membership. Yeah.
And it offers me some little insight. I still listen to some of the coaching sessions. I think I don't do every single thing every single day.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think you
Yeah.
can.
So let me ask you a question. Do you still listen to hypnosis?
Interestingly, I do. I listen, I make my own, and I've done this in my membership, taught people how to do their own, make their own self-hypnosis recording. Because I'll do a summer self-hypnosis, and it's not on, it will be like you, focus on health goals, focus on, like, I'm very into resistance training right now because I turned 60 and I wanted muscle retention and balance, and I have osteoporosis, so I'm working on that. And then but I work on life goals, and I'll remind myself the vision of connecting with my kids in a powerful way and all of that stuff. Because your mind left untended will always go back to the old world. It can easily I do these drawings on the board for those of you who haven't worked with me, where it's just, here's your new brain that we're making our healthy brain, our thin thinking brain. And it's wired and it's vibrant, but it can start to wane, and that old brain can start to get stronger and stronger. You've got to keep, and that's why the hypnosis, meditation, all of that is helpful. And I'm sure it's the same in your successful business career. It's just like your focus has to be, you can't get distracted. You have to focus on what is meaningful for you at that time, your priorities.
In the world of learning and coaching and leadership, what parts of you can never change, and who you are and certain strengths, and they are who you are. You can be an extrovert, but that doesn't mean that you always have to be the center of attention. So you can do different things, but sometimes you are who you are. And if you get tired, when you don't sleep well, hence the Aura ring, when you are under deep stress, it's much easier to connect with the part of you that is who you are. It's not always healthy for you. So that's okay. That's why this understanding that life is about getting back on track. I don't think everybody goes to work every day and works the same amount Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
No.
Sometimes you drift, and you got to get back on track at work. And you're like, whoops, I got a deadline.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it works with a lot of things, and some things you have to prep more for. How would I say this? When things go bad at work and I have to give feedback to people that work for me, if I do it in the moment without any preparation, that conversation might not go so well. So I have to prep myself. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
When things aren't going well, you got to stop and prep and go, hold on a second. Sometimes I call it constructive procrastination. Don't address that right now, but put it on your task list. Your brain is much more attuned to tasks. There's actually some study about this. I can't remember what it's called, how open tasks consume so much more of your brain. And oh, yeah, I'll have to find it for you. I just read it. It's incredible. But an open task, something that's on your task list, will consume more of your brain than something that you've completed. So you complete something, there's completion satisfaction, and then a week later, you forgot you completed it. Think about all the successful things that are behind you. You don't remember them. But the task brain is very present and very in the front of your brain. So I think the hypnosis and I think the practice of writing food down keeps the task of what you're trying to do present. It keeps it present. So that's maintenance for me. And I think I had once shared with you once before. Year 3 is actually for me not easier than year 1 in maintenance. Year 1 in maintenance, all that learning was still present in the brain, all the tasks, all the things very present. And then as you live your life and you don't need everything every day, it's not as present. And so it might take longer to go, I think I'm off track. Hence why I start weighing my food every once in a while, because it just gets bigger and bigger. I don't think that happened in year 1. That happens more in year 3 or 4.
Yeah, it happens in year 30 as well.
I hope to get there, my friend. I hope to get there.
Because it's the brain will drift, and you and I can laugh at it because it's easier to have a sense of humor about it when you're like, yeah, that's what you do. Instead of it's, oh my God, I'm broken, I'm insane, and it's never fixable. I'm a horrible person. I'm just like,
a failure, right?
My eyes adjusted that 3 ounce, thought that was 3 ounces of chicken when it was really 6 ounces or whatever.
Yeah.
I've told, I think a lot of our listeners will know, I went away to Spain and to see my daughter this year, and we ate bread every day. And I measured amounts, like measured, not like I measured it out, but measured meaning like I would only eat one piece because I know if I eat another one, then it will then lead my little carb zombie to start hypnotizing me towards other things, right? And but just doing that for a week consecutively, then it was, I'll just have some of that, and why not some of this? And then I was like, okay, let's get a little check in here. But there was no, oh, look at you. If I was on a vacation struggling with my weight, look at you. You might as well just eat everything. And then when you get home, you're really going to have to pull it together. You know.
I remember years ago, because I didn't come from a family that was confident in their weight. No one, and my brother, I'm 5 feet, my brother's 6 feet tall, but he still has weight issues. Yeah. And I don't remember one day he says to me, he goes, starting a diet every Monday, all it really has ever done is made me eat more on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, that would make me laugh. But it's so true. And when you can break that, it's fabulous.
It's what you said. It's freeing.
It's free.
It's free. Yeah. If you had, this has been so great, and I know I want to get you home exercising, but if you had one thing to say to somebody who was struggling, and what would be that first step for them that you would, thinking back to where you were, and what would that be?
Knowing everything that I know now, it really would be that moment of, can you visualize something different in the future? It really would be that deep hypnosis meditation part that says, and doing it with consistency, because I do believe this: when you're struggling, it's a trauma. Yeah. It's a trauma. I feel that way. I mean,
I think it's like PTSD.
People might think this sounds super dramatic, Like, I used to think about every single thing I put in my mouth, and it was, but, and that was, I look back now and I'm like, that was deep trauma that I was going through.
It
And
was
when you're in
self-abuse.
trauma, when you're truly in trauma, it is very difficult to visualize something positive. It's not easy. So I'm not asking people to do something that's easy, or I'm not recommending that people do something that's easy. It's deeply hard to imagine something better when you're feeling pain right now. It's, if you lose your job, it is very difficult to be like, I'm just going to get a better job. Everyone goes, oh, it's meant to happen. And your internal brain goes, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It's when traumas happen, and they happen to us all the time, little mini ones, some of them bigger, some of them irreparable. It's very difficult to visualize a positive event in the future. That's the place to get started. Can I
Wow.
see that success?
Yeah.
Then I can get there.
Yeah.
And this really helped me with that. This really helped me with that.
I love that, because one of the first things we do is we open that door forward, the failing forward. No, but and it is because when you're stuck in that trauma, and it's a loop, right? It's a cognitive loop that you just get it spun around in all the time. It's hard to exit that loop, especially because when you're struggling, you think the answer is in being better, or being, it's about, and that just keeps you in more of the same, rather than stepping out and going, no, I need to go to a different world. I need to leave the house of abuse. And when you live in a house of abuse, if you leave the house and you have nowhere else to go because you don't
Right
know,
back.
then you'll go right back. So the vision helps you have this new place to go live. And it helps your brain, because so much change happens in your imagination, in imagination is in your subconscious. So I love that. I love that. That's a really great step forward. This has been so amazing, and it's so amazing to catch up with you. Like I said, you look amazing. You look so healthy and happy, and I'm glad to hear great things are happening in your life. And I hope they continue to do so.
Oh, I hope the same for you. And I'm honored that you would have me here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. And we will have to have you back when
Let's keep
you're,
dancing. You and me.
okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It was so great of you to come on, and you listeners for coming and being here today. And again, if you want to dive into that special fall process where you can get all the power of hypnosis, meditation, and coaching, please come and join us. www.shiftweightmastery.com/fall to get all the details, all the dates, all the stuff that you need to see if this is a really good fit for you. Don't put off your transformation any longer. This is an amazing journey. We are very dedicated to our participants. It is an amazing process. So go check it out and have a great week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is inside you. So keep listening and find it. I will look forward to being here again with you next week. Do you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term